What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this American Gods Season 3, Episode 2 breakdown and review. After last week, which turned the show back on course, this episode continued on the smooth sailing with a stunning opening scene. I was initially worried about the show centering around Lakeside, which wasn't really one of my favourite chapters in the book, but it seemed to have worked well as Lakeside is immensely charming, except now I have a craving for a good old Cornish pasty, but the dark side of that town will soon come out. The episode opens with Native Americans being slaughtered in Wisconsin territory in 1690. They seem to have been killed by Norsemen as the victims beg for the help of their god, which I really cannot pronounce. As they finish the merciless slaughter, the men do appear to be Nordic and pray to the thunder god Thor himself to abate the impending snowstorm. It's clear this is the early Lakeside, and the reason why Wednesday loves it so much and why he sends Shadow Moon there is because it's home of Nordic followers. Now later in the episode, Anne-Marie mentions the town's founder only asked for an ice festival to be celebrated, which explains the power of these Nordic gods. It's also an insight into the Native American god-hating Mr. Wednesday last episode, as he gained power from his people taking over America. But Anne-Marie is more than meets the eye, and I won't go too much into the book spoilers here. We pick up with Shadow Moon as he had a shotgun pointed at his end at the end of last episode, and we learn the woman is simply the property manager and also working at the town's newspaper. She gives him a spare key and lets him in, except the heater isn't working. He flashes back to him being a kid as a billiquey calls out to him and a buffalo chases him, which continues on from last week and shows his two possible choices referenced later in the episode. Now, this also plays into the promo for next week, where Shadow is searching for Billiquey and asks Mr. Wednesday, and he referenced the dreams that he is having. Now, Billiquey has a tech guy around. In one of the oddest scenes, the guy is there to work on a laptop, but it turns out this is just a bit of kinky roleplay there, as he's really the biggest IT CEO and is super powerful in society, but she just doesn't care, and he's frustrated that he cannot touch her, and he's the one paying for her lifestyle. Now she relents and they do it, and she swallows him up, just like her powers in the book. In the book it was a kind of Hollywood guy, but here it is a tech wizard, which I guess that shows the change in society since when the book was written in 2001, as Hollywood and movie moguls was a big thing then, but tech is now the biggest thing in the world. And it might be to do with her expanded storyline with Tech Boy, and that's why she's killing an IT CEO, I'm just guessing there. Now, back in Lakeside, Shadow is going through his mail as he finds an invite to a memorial service for Zariah in Chicago, who was killed last season. We'll discuss that a bit later in the episode. Now, after this, he is picked up by Anne-Marie, who shows him around the town and takes him to get some brand new clothes and tells him everything about the town and how there is a tradition of having a clunker car kept on ice, and the town bets when it will fall into the ice. Now, the character is gender swapped from the book, and like I said earlier in this video, I won't go too much into the book spoilers, but if you want book spoilers, let me know in the comments, and I will do a sort of thing at the end there and mention that as well. Now, it's a significant character into why Lakeside is so ridiculously pristine and free from outside influence and is just seemingly pure Americana. Now, he gets some new clothes and meets Allison, the girl who was teasing him with her friend at the end of, or during last episode, and she helps him buy some new clothes, but she later goes missing as Shadow becomes a suspect, as kids have been going missing for years in the books, and my fellow book readers, you can tell where this is going. Now, Shadow, before leaving, bets when the car will fall into the ice as March the 23rd. Yes, he has some inside knowledge as he sees the frost on the board of dates. Lakeside was an interesting part in the book and is something that Neil Gaiman was excited to adapt. Admittedly, it wasn't my favourite part, but there were so many different parts of the book. I really did adore it. Now we cut to a dentist, and this is Tyr. Tyr was an old god of war, but is a lawgiver and is all about justice, which separates him from Odin. You may recognise him from God of War, the new reboot, or God of War 4, whatever you want to call it, as he was a big character traversing the world. Now it seems he is gaining power from being a very rich dentist, and man, I've never seen a dentist that fancy, but hey, I am British and there is that meme about British having bad teeth. Now Wednesday visits him and asks for a donation and pretty much asks him to join in his war. Now he spies a postcard from Demetra. Demetra was the Greek goddess of the harvest, and she is appearing in season 3 and also appears in the promo for the next episode. She has an unresolved romantic history with Wednesday, which explains why he swiped the postcard, which we learned he did later in the episode. Now we see our boy Shadow try to get a car with the help of the police, who grills him at a restaurant, but it turns out his property manager has a spare car that she refuses to be sold, but she will rent it for a small or high fee. To be honest, I don't know how much cars go for renting these days because I've never rented a car. But it clearly hints at a past trauma. We check in with Celine, who is distraught at Jin leaving his side, and he learns in Cairo that Jin has been given a mission by Mr. Wednesday, and he sets off to Chicago to confront the Allfather himself. Now, Jin and Celine have a wild change from the books, and they have a greatly expanded role. I did wonder how they would expand this book over multiple seasons, but Neil Gaiman is hinting at a sequel, so maybe the sequel will fold over into the TV show. But Shadow drives to Chicago, the Windy City, and hits something, damaging the windscreen, which will make him instantly a suspect later because he has to get it changed. And now I suspect this was the plan of the person who will be revealed as Lakeside's protector later in the season. Despite this, he does arrive in Chicago at the memorial for Zariah, as Cernabog is furious at Shadow turning up. Now, Mr. Wednesday turns up, and it turns out that Zariah cannot be revived as there's no people who believe in her anymore, which hints at the desperation of Mr. Wednesday to get this war up and running. Now, they dance as Shadow goes up to see another one of Zariah's sisters who watch over the stars, and Shadow learns he will have two paths to go on, but he just wants a normal life. That's what he's wanted since this show has started. But the issue is his father's tempting him due to his magnetism and temptation and really the connection those two have. But Celine crashes the party like a crazy ex and learns pretty much nothing at the memorial service other than Mr. Wednesday is a really nasty dude, bordering on a homophobe. As people leave, Shadow meets with Wednesday's now girlfriend and wife and partner, whatever she is, and she simply answered to an ad on Craigslist. It does drive me wild when people say Craigslist, it's Craig, but anyway. Now, she got everything paid for, and the Allfather is now up to date on tech, so that's why she's with him. Shadow has had enough and returns to Lakeside to continue hiding out from the new gods, only for him to be the lead suspect in the disappearance of Allison. But it's all resolved, which seems so convenient, and it would have been a good cliffhanger, but in the promo for next week, we do see everything that's going on. They are searching for her, so I guess that's going to continue on in that way. Now, he does gather firewood and see a peacock. Now, at first, I thought this might be Argus, the god of surveillance, killed last season as he was turned into a peacock, but it is Bilquis because the promo for next week confirms it, and as well as that, she is in promotional stills as she has been shown with him, and they will meet up next episode, which is interesting to see where that goes. But the heating was simply turned off, and the property manager likes him and, well, turns it back on. Now, we suddenly flash to the clunker, which, yes, it's going to be curious, as in the promo for next week, we see Lakeside searching for Allison, but there's a reason the flash was to the clunker at the end of the episode, if you get me, book readers. And we have a feather which is found, and Odin is going to see Demetra as well, and we catch up with Laura in a limbo, which personally, hey, I'm not too excited about that whatsoever. But that's it for this video, so please do drop a like down below, please do subscribe with notifications on, and let me know if you want book spoilers in a second half of this video, and please do let me know what you want more from me, and I will be doing a Batwoman video tomorrow as well. That's it for this video. Please do drop a like, please do subscribe, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.